Every day presents a chance to become a better version of yourself, but most of us drift through our routines without thinking about how to improve. Small choices repeated consistently can completely change how we feel, how we act, and how our lives unfold. This audiobook is about 10 simple yet powerful actions you can take every single day to improve your life, your mindset, your health, and your relationships. These are not quick fixes or empty advice. They are practical steps that anyone can apply immediately, no matter where they are starting from. You will learn how to understand yourself better, manage your energy, strengthen your focus, and respond to challenges with calm and confidence. You'll discover ways to take care of your body, nourish your mind, and improve your emotional strength. You'll see how daily habits like practicing gratitude, learning actively, communicating clearly, and showing kindness can transform your connections with others. Every night, you'll also learn how to reflect on your day so that tomorrow is smarter, calmer, and more productive. By the end of this audiobook, you'll have a clear step-by-step guide to make real, lasting improvements in your life. You'll feel more in control, more focused, and more capable of handling whatever comes your way. Every chapter gives you actionable advice, emotional insight, and practical guidance that you can start using today. This is your opportunity to take small but meaningful steps toward living a more intentional, disciplined, and fulfilling life. Chapter 1. Strengthen daily self-awareness through honest reflection and feedback. The eye of the mind is the quiet place where truth waits without decoration. It is where you see yourself without excuses and without cruelty. Most people move through life reacting to events and opinions without ever stopping to observe the one constant presence in every moment, which is their own mind. Self-awareness is not a trend or a personality trait. It is a daily practice of attention. It is the skill of noticing what you think, why you think it, and how those thoughts shape your actions. When this skill is weak, life feels confusing and repetitive. When it is strong, life becomes clear and deliberate. Many people avoid self-awareness because it feels uncomfortable at first. Honest reflection exposes habits that no longer serve you. It shows you where effort is missing and where fear is hiding. But discomfort is not danger. It is information. The Stoic thinkers understood this well. They believed that progress begins when a person is willing to see reality as it is rather than as they wish it to be. The mind grows stronger when it faces truth calmly. Every day offers a chance to sharpen this inner sight. Not once a year, not during a crisis. Every ordinary day. Self-awareness starts with understanding that your reactions are signals. When something irritates you, discourages you, or excites you more than expected, that reaction is revealing something important. It may reveal an insecurity, an attachment, or an unexamined belief. Instead of pushing the feeling away or justifying it, pause and observe it. Ask what belief is being touched. Ask what expectation was present. This simple habit turns daily life into a teacher. Nothing is wasted when attention is present. Honest reflection is the foundation of this practice. Reflection is not self-criticism. It is not replaying mistakes with shame. It is calm observation. At the end of each day, there is value in sitting quietly and reviewing your actions. Consider what you did well and why it worked. Consider where you fell short and what led to it. This is not about judging your worth. It is about understanding cause and effect. When you see patterns clearly, change becomes possible. Many people reflect in vague ways. They tell themselves the day was good or bad and move on. That is not reflection. Reflection asks specific questions. Where did attention drift today? Where did impatience appear? Where did courage show itself? What choices were made out of habit rather than intention? These questions do not require long answers. They require honest ones. Writing them down can help, but the core work happens in the mind. The key is consistency. Small daily reflection builds more awareness than rare, deep thinking. Feedback from others is another mirror that many people avoid. Feedback can feel threatening because it challenges the image you hold of yourself. Yet no one sees themselves fully. Other people observe your behavior from angles you cannot access. The Stoic approach to feedback is calm evaluation. Not every opinion is correct, but every opinion contains data. When someone reacts strongly to your words or actions, that reaction is worth examining even if you disagree with it. Receiving feedback well begins with restraint. Resist the urge to defend yourself immediately. Defense closes the mind. Instead, listen fully. Ask clarifying questions if needed. Notice emotional responses without acting on them. Later, in private reflection, evaluate the feedback carefully. Does it reveal a blind spot? Does it highlight a pattern you have ignored? Even criticism delivered poorly can contain useful information. Wisdom lies in extracting value without absorbing bitterness. Self-awareness also involves understanding your internal dialogue. The voice in your head shapes your behavior more than external events. Many people carry a harsh inner critic that drains energy and confidence. Others carry a complacent voice that avoids effort. Neither voice serves growth. Awareness allows you to notice these patterns and replace them with a steady and rational tone. The Stoic ideal is an inner voice that is firm but fair. It acknowledges mistakes without exaggeration and encourages effort without illusion. A practical way to develop this awareness is to notice how you speak to yourself during difficulty. When tired or frustrated, does the inner voice become insulting or hopeless? When successful, does it become arrogant or dismissive? Simply noticing this pattern weakens its grip. Over time, you can choose words that support discipline and clarity. Language shapes thought, and thought shapes action. Daily self-awareness also requires attention to physical signals. The body often reacts before the mind understands. Tension in the shoulders, shallow breathing, or restlessness are signs of stress or resistance. Ignoring these signals leads to burnout or impulsive decisions. A Stoic approach respects the body as a source of information without letting sensation control judgment. When tension appears, pause and breathe slowly. Ask what demand or thought is creating the response. Often the body reveals what the mind is avoiding. Another overlooked area of awareness is how time is spent. Time reveals priorities more honestly than words. Reviewing how you used your hours provides clear feedback about values in action. Many people say growth matters, yet their days are filled with distraction. This is not a moral failure, it is a gap in awareness. By calmly observing how time is used, adjustments can be made without guilt. Improvement follows clarity. The practice of self-awareness also extends to decision-making. Before making choices, notice the emotional state influencing the decision. Choices made from fear or impatience often create regret. Choices made from calm consideration tend to align with long-term values. This does not require perfection. It requires pause. A brief pause before action allows reason to guide behavior. Over time, this pause becomes a habit. One of the most powerful aspects of self-awareness is recognizing triggers. Triggers are situations or words that cause strong reactions. They often connect to past experiences or unexamined beliefs. When a trigger appears, awareness allows you to respond rather than react. Response is guided by values. Reaction is driven by impulse. The difference shapes character. Developing awareness of triggers requires curiosity rather than judgment. When a reaction occurs, ask what belief was challenged. Ask why this situation matters so much. The answer often reveals an area for growth. This process transforms emotional moments into opportunities for understanding. Honest reflection also includes acknowledging strengths. Many people focus only on flaws and miss the chance to reinforce effective behaviors. When you act with patience, courage, or discipline, notice it. Understand what enabled that behavior. Reinforcing strengths builds confidence grounded in reality rather than praise. The Stoics believed that virtue grows through practice and recognition of progress. Feedback can also be sought intentionally. Instead of waiting for criticism, ask trusted people for specific observations. Ask how your communication affects them. Ask where improvement is needed. This requires humility and courage. It also accelerates growth. Choose sources wisely. Seek feedback from those who are honest and thoughtful rather than those who flatter or attack. Managing emotional responses to feedback is part of the discipline. Initial discomfort is normal. Do not rush to conclusions. Allow time for reflection. Separate the message from the emotion. Over time, feedback becomes less threatening and more useful. The mind learns that information does not equal judgment. Self-awareness deepens when combined with daily stillness. Moments of silence allow thoughts to surface without distraction. This can be as simple as a few minutes of quiet breathing. During this time, observe thoughts as they arise without following them. This practice strengthens the ability to notice mental patterns throughout the day. Stillness is not escape. It is preparation. The modern world encourages constant stimulation. Notifications and noise reduce awareness by pulling attention outward. Creating small boundaries around attention supports self-observation. Simple habits like starting the day without screens or taking short breaks from digital input can restore clarity. Awareness thrives in space. Another practical application is reviewing conversations. After important interactions, reflect on what was said and how it was received. Notice tone, timing, and emotional cues. This reflection improves communication and empathy. It also reveals habits that may undermine trust or clarity. Self-awareness also involves recognizing limits. Fatigue, hunger, and stress affect judgment. Ignoring limits leads to poor decisions and frustration. Awareness allows for adjustment rather than denial. Taking rest seriously is not weakness, it is respect for reality. The Stoic perspective values sustainability over short bursts of effort. The process of strengthening self-awareness is gradual. There is no final state where awareness is complete. Each day offers new situations and lessons. Patience is required. Progress is measured in small shifts in response and understanding. Over time, these shifts compound into significant change. A common obstacle is the desire to appear consistent rather than to be honest. People often defend past choices to protect identity. Awareness requires flexibility. It allows you to change your mind when new information appears. This is not instability, it is growth. Holding rigidly to outdated beliefs limits development. Another obstacle is distraction from discomfort. When reflection brings up regret or sadness, the impulse is to escape. Avoidance delays learning. Facing discomfort calmly reduces its power. The Stoic approach teaches acceptance of feelings without surrendering to them. Emotions are signals, not commands. Daily journaling can support this practice, but it is not required. What matters is attention. Writing can clarify thought, but silent reflection can be equally effective. Choose methods that fit your life. Consistency matters more than form. As awareness grows, compassion for others often follows. Seeing your own struggles clearly makes it easier to understand those of others. This does not excuse harmful behavior, but it reduces unnecessary anger. The Stoic ideal combines self-discipline with understanding of human imperfection. Self-awareness also strengthens purpose. When you understand your values and patterns, decisions align more easily with long-term goals. Confusion decreases. Energy increases. Life feels less reactive and more intentional. The eye of the mind becomes sharper through use. Each moment of observation strengthens it. Each honest reflection adds clarity. Each piece of feedback evaluated calmly adds depth. This is quiet work. It does not announce itself, yet it changes everything. In practical terms, begin with one daily habit of reflection. Choose a consistent time. Review actions and reactions. Ask simple questions. Note patterns without judgment. Seek feedback with humility. Observe the inner voice. Protect moments of stillness. These steps require no special tools. They require attention and willingness. Over time, self-awareness becomes a steady companion. It guides behavior during stress and success. It reduces regret by aligning action with values. It builds resilience by replacing confusion with understanding. The chapter closes with a reminder that awareness is an act of respect toward yourself. It acknowledges that your life is worth understanding and improving. No one else can do this work for you. External advice has limits. The most reliable guidance comes from a mind trained to see clearly. Each day offers a chance to look inward with honesty. Each reflection strengthens the foundation for discipline and growth. The eye of the mind does not seek perfection. It seeks truth. And truth, faced calmly and acted upon consistently, leads to a life of strength and direction. Chapter 2 say, build consistent discipline by showing up even when tired. Discipline is not born in moments of motivation. It is formed in quiet moments when the body feels heavy and the mind searches for excuses. Most people believe discipline means pushing hard on good days. In reality, discipline is proven on ordinary days when energy is low and enthusiasm is absent. Showing up when tired is not heroic, it is practical. It is how trust with yourself is built. Fatigue is a normal part of being human. It does not mean something is wrong with you. It means you have limits. Discipline does not deny those limits, but it also does not surrender to them at the first sign of discomfort. There is a difference between exhaustion that requires rest and tiredness that simply resists effort. Learning to tell the difference is a skill. That skill grows through observation and practice. Many people wait to feel ready before acting. Readiness is unreliable. Feelings change with sleep, food, stress, and mood. Discipline works differently. It acts based on commitment rather than emotion. When you decide in advance what matters, you remove the need to negotiate with yourself every day. This reduces mental strain and preserves energy for action. Showing up when tired does not mean performing at full intensity. It means maintaining continuity. A short walk still counts. A focused 10 minutes still matters. Writing a few honest lines still moves you forward. Consistency is more important than intensity. Progress depends on repeated action, not perfect effort. The Stoic thinkers understood that comfort weakens resolve. They trained themselves to act regardless of mood. This was not punishment, it was preparation. Life does not wait for ideal conditions. Challenges arrive when energy is low and clarity is limited. Discipline practiced in small daily acts becomes strength during pressure. One practical step is to lower the barrier to starting. When tired, the hardest part is beginning. Simplify the first step until resistance fades. Put on shoes. Open the notebook. Stand up. Action often follows motion. Waiting for motivation delays progress. Movement creates momentum. Another key is routine. A stable routine reduces decision fatigue. When tasks are linked to time or sequence, less willpower is required. Morning routines and evening routines anchor behavior. They provide structure when the mind feels scattered. Over time, routine turns effort into habit. Discipline also requires honesty about energy management. Poor sleep, irregular eating, and constant distraction drain strength. Showing up when tired does not mean ignoring health. It means respecting the body enough to care for it while still honoring commitments. Rest is part of discipline when used intentionally rather than as avoidance. Self-talk matters during fatigue. The inner voice often exaggerates discomfort and predicts failure. Awareness allows you to challenge these thoughts calmly. Remind yourself that tiredness passes. Remind yourself that effort today reduces regret tomorrow. This is not false optimism. It is grounded reasoning. Another effective practice is separating identity from feeling. You are not lazy because you feel tired. You are not weak because effort feels heavy. Feelings describe a state, not a character. Discipline strengthens when you act in alignment with values regardless of temporary states. Tracking small wins reinforces consistency. Notice days when you showed up despite resistance. This builds confidence based on evidence. Confidence grounded in action is stable. It does not depend on praise or excitement. It grows quietly through repeated proof. Discipline also involves accepting imperfection. Some days' performance will be limited. The goal is not flawless execution. The goal is presence. Showing up keeps the chain unbroken. Missing once can happen. Missing repeatedly weakens trust. Consistency protects momentum. The environment plays a role. Reduce friction where possible. Prepare tools in advance. Keep spaces organized. Small adjustments save energy. Discipline is supported by design as much as by willpower. Accountability can help when used wisely. Sharing commitments with one reliable person increases follow-through. This is not about pressure. It is about clarity. Knowing someone expects consistency reinforces intention. Discipline practiced daily changes self-perception. You begin to see yourself as someone who keeps promises. This identity strengthens resolve. Over time, showing up becomes natural rather than forced. What once required effort becomes routine. There will be days when rest is the correct choice. Discipline includes wisdom. Ignoring true exhaustion leads to injury or burnout. The difference lies in intention. Rest chosen deliberately supports long-term consistency. Rest chosen to avoid discomfort delays growth. One way to test intention is to ask whether rest will lead to renewal or regret. If rest restores energy and clarity, it is useful. If rest increases avoidance and dissatisfaction, it may be resistance in disguise. Discipline also builds emotional stability. When actions align with values, self-respect grows. This reduces inner conflict. Life feels steadier even during difficulty. You trust yourself to act responsibly. The practice of showing up when tired also builds patience. Progress becomes less dramatic but more reliable. You stop chasing quick results and start valuing steady improvement. This mindset supports long-term success. Every disciplined action sends a signal to the mind. It says effort matters. It says commitment is real. These signals accumulate. Over time, discipline becomes less about force and more about identity. The chapter closes with a reminder that discipline is quiet. It does not seek attention. It is practiced alone when no one is watching. Each time you show up despite fatigue, you strengthen the foundation of your life. Not through intensity, but through consistency. Not through motivation, but through choice. Chapter 13. Improve physical health with simple daily movement and nutrition. Movement and food are the simplest tools for changing how life feels and how the mind performs. Improving physical health does not require expensive equipment or extreme diets. It begins with clear small choices that accumulate into real change. The body responds to regular signals and predictable habits. When movement is consistent and nutrition is honest, the mind becomes sharper, energy improves, and stress becomes easier to manage. Start by making movement unavoidable and easy. Commit to a daily plan that fits into real life. This can be a 20-minute walk after a meal, a sequence of bodyweight exercises before starting work, or 5 minutes of joint mobility each morning. The key is to pick a foundation routine that never feels optional. Design the routine so it can be shortened when needed, but rarely skipped entirely. Small, consistent actions beat big occasional efforts. Use variety to keep the body and mind engaged. Walk one day, do a short strength session the next, and spend another day focusing on balance and stretching. Strength is the most important capability to preserve with age, and it also improves posture and confidence now. Basic movements like squats, hip hinges, push patterns, and pulling motions can be performed with only body weight or household items. Progress by increasing repetitions, quality, or adding a minor load over weeks, not days. Pay attention to posture during daily tasks. Standing tall with a relaxed chest and neutral spine reduces long-term pain and improves breathing. When seated, raise the screen so the neck is neutral. Shift position every 20 to 30 minutes. And gently open the chest frequently. Tiny adjustments repeated over time remove persistent tension and allow movement to feel easier. Prioritize joint health by moving through full ranges of motion. Gentle circles for the shoulders, controlled knee bends, and slow ankle mobility reduce stiffness and prevent injuries. Mobility work is not warm-up fluff. It is preparation that keeps daily life comfortable and functional. Spend a few minutes before heavy activity and a few minutes at the end of the day to maintain freedom of movement. Hydration changes how the body performs at a basic level. Thirst often masks itself as fatigue or lack of focus. Keep a container of water visible and refill it at predictable times, such as after each task block or at the top of every hour. Add small routines like drinking a glass upon waking and another before bed. Consistent hydration improves digestion, skin health, cognitive clarity, and recovery from effort. Food is an everyday decision with immediate feedback. Favor whole foods that provide steady energy. This means vegetables, fruits, whole grains, proteins, and healthy fats in approachable servings. Simple swaps make a big difference, such as replacing sugary beverages with water or tea, choosing whole fruit over processed snacks, and including a protein source with each meal to stabilize hunger and support muscle repair. Plan meals so choices are not left to fatigue. Batch cook staples such as roasted vegetables, a pot of beans, or a tray of baked chicken or tofu. When the fridge already contains healthy building blocks, the instinct to default to convenience options weakens. Keep a short shopping list focused on quality staples and rotate menus to avoid boredom. Eat with attention. Fast, distracted consumption dulls awareness of fullness and enjoyment. Slow down for a few minutes and notice textures, flavors, and how the body responds. This practice reduces overeating, improves digestion, and strengthens the connection between eating and feeling. The simple act of putting utensils down between bites creates space for better choices. Portion control is practical, not punitive. Use plates that fit realistic serving sizes. Prepare balanced plates of protein, vegetables, and a modest portion of carbohydrate, and adjust based on activity levels. If an intense training session is scheduled, increase carbohydrate intake that day. If the focus is light movement, lower the quantity. Observing how food affects energy across the day builds a personalized sense of what works. Sleep quality amplifies the benefits of movement and nutrition. Regular sleep patterns support recovery, hormone regulation, and memory. Aim for consistent bed and wake times. Reduce nighttime screen exposure and create a ritual that tells the body it is time to wind down. A short cool-down period before bed, including gentle stretching or breathing practice, improves sleep onset and depth. Recovery is part of the program, not an afterthought. Soreness or fatigue signals adaptation and needs to be managed. Contrast movement days with restorative practices, such as walking in nature, foam rolling, or a slow mobility session. Respecting recovery reduces injuries and keeps progress steady. Use simple measures to track progress. Steps per day, minutes of moderate movement, hours slept, and perceived energy are practical metrics. Record these numbers for a few weeks and look for trends. Improvements often arrive slowly, but tracking reveals shifts that would otherwise go unnoticed, and it creates motivation grounded in evidence. Food tracking need not be obsessive. A straightforward habit is to note one meal each day and how it made you feel an hour later. This single data point identifies foods that cause sluggishness, bloating, or low mood. Over time, patterns appear and allow precise adjustments without complicated diets. Minimize prolonged sitting by introducing micro breaks. Stand while on calls. Perform short mobility sequences between tasks and use stairs when possible. These small interruptions to sedentary time lower metabolic risk and keep blood flowing. Physical activity does not have to be a separate event. It can be woven into daily life. Build a toolkit of quick, high-value movements for busy days. A set of 10 push-ups, a wall sit, a 2-minute plank, or a single set of lunges can be performed anywhere and maintain muscle stimulus. When time is limited, the goal shifts from perfect training to maintaining a stimulus that signals consistency. Nutrition is also about what is removed. Reduce added sugars, refined carbohydrates, and ultra-processed snacks that produce energy crashes and cravings. Replace problematic items step by step rather than attempting instant elimination. For example, swap a sugary breakfast cereal for a bowl of oats topped with fruit, nuts, and a spoon of yogurt. Then evaluate how energy behaves across the morning. Mindful caffeine use supports daily performance without disrupting sleep. Consume caffeine earlier in the day, limit doses, and avoid late afternoon intake if sleep is affected. The goal is to use stimulants to enhance performance, not to mask poor sleep or inadequate nutrition. Create a habit loop that anchors movement to existing behaviors. Pair a short walk with listening to an audiobook or call a friend while performing a mobility routine. When movement lives next to an enjoyable stimulus, it transforms from obligation into a part of the day to look forward to. Grocery shopping is a form of self-care. Choose whole foods and avoid shopping hungry. A simple list and a predictable route reduce decision fatigue in the store. Include convenient healthy snacks such as nuts, fruit, yogurt, and cut vegetables so choices at home remain supportive. Keep cooking simple and manageable. Learn 5 reliable recipes that cover breakfast, lunches, dinners, and a couple of snacks. Mastery of a small set of meals prevents reliance on takeout and ensures nutritional consistency. Experiment slowly and adjust flavors rather than chasing complexity. Accountability doubles the likelihood of follow-through. Share basic goals with a supportive friend. Join a small group that values health or partner with someone for weekly check-ins. Community provides encouragement, practical tips, and the social pressure that nudges consistency. Medical basics matter. Regular checkups, simple blood tests, and listening to professional guidance provide essential context for personalized decisions. Use health markers, not opinions, to guide major nutritional or exercise changes. Measure enjoyment as part of the equation. Health improvements that undermine daily satisfaction are unsustainable. Choose movements that feel good and foods that satisfy while remaining nutritious. Health should enhance life, not become a source of misery. Embrace gradual change. Radical plans frequently fail because they demand more than current circumstances allow. Small, steady improvements compound into tangible results. When habits align with real-life, momentum builds without constant struggle. The sensory part of movement often motivates more than numbers. Notice the warmth spreading through muscles, the relief in tense shoulders, and the clearer breathing after a short walk. These immediate benefits anchor habits because they are felt in the body, not just imagined. Practical preparation reduces excuses. Lay out a training kit the night before, keep a water bottle handy, and pack simple, healthy foods for busy days. Remove obvious barriers to good choices so that effort goes toward progress, not logistics. Finally, remember that caring for the body strengthens the mind. A daily pattern of movement and thoughtful nutrition is a practice of respect. It demonstrates a commitment to presence, to capacity, and to the work of living well. Consistent small actions transform physical resilience into mental clarity and provide the energy required to pursue meaning with steady effort. Chapter 40. Sharpen focus by managing time, attention, and digital habits. Focus is the ability to place your attention where it matters and keep it there long enough for meaningful work to happen. It is not a personality trait. It is a skill shaped by daily choices. In a world designed to fragment attention, sharpening focus requires intention and structure. Without it, effort scatters and progress slows. With it, even limited time produces real results. Time is not the problem most people face. Attention is. Hours pass every day, yet little feels complete. This happens when attention is constantly redirected by alerts, noise, and internal restlessness. Managing focus begins with recognizing that attention is a limited resource. Each distraction spends it. Each deliberate choice protects it. The first step is deciding what deserves attention before the day begins. When priorities are unclear, the mind reacts to whatever is loudest or easiest. A short daily planning habit creates direction. Identify 1 or 2 tasks that truly matter, not 10, not everything, just the actions that move life forward. When priorities are visible, distractions lose some power. Time blocking is a practical method for protecting attention. Assign specific periods for focused work, routine tasks, communication, and rest. This reduces constant decision-making and creates boundaries. During focus blocks, attention is reserved for one task only. Multitasking feels productive but weakens results. Single tasking builds depth and speed. Digital habits are a major influence on focus. Phones and devices are designed to capture attention through novelty and reward loops. This is not a personal failure. It is a design reality. Regaining control requires adjusting the environment. Disable non-essential notifications. Remove apps that encourage mindless checking. Place devices out of reach during focused work. Small changes reduce temptation. Checking messages constantly fractures concentration. Instead, schedule specific times for communication. This sets expectations and prevents interruption from controlling the day. Most messages can wait. Urgency is often assumed rather than real. Creating response windows protects focus without neglecting responsibility. Attention also suffers when tasks are vague. The mind resists unclear goals. Before starting, define the next concrete step. Open the document. Write 1 paragraph. Review 1 page. Clear starting points lower resistance and help attention settle. Ambiguity drains focus. Clarity restores it. Mental clutter weakens concentration. Too many open loops compete for attention. Write down tasks and ideas instead of carrying them mentally. Externalizing thoughts frees mental space for focus. A simple list is enough. The goal is to unload memory, not to create complexity. Energy levels affect attention. Poor sleep, irregular meals, and dehydration reduce the ability to concentrate. Focus is supported by basic care. Regular movement, consistent meals, and adequate rest stabilize attention. Managing focus is not only mental, it is physical. Another factor is emotional noise. Unresolved worries and frustrations pull attention away from the present task. A brief pause to acknowledge these thoughts can reduce their pull. Name the concern. Decide when it will be addressed. then return to the task. Suppression fails. Acknowledgement followed by structure works. Digital consumption habits shape attention span. Constant short-form content trains the mind to expect rapid stimulation. This makes sustained focus feel uncomfortable. Reducing passive scrolling and replacing it with intentional consumption restores tolerance for depth. Choose fewer inputs of higher quality. Create clear start and stop rituals for focused work. A simple action like clearing the desk, closing tabs, or taking a few slow breaths signals the brain to concentrate. Ending rituals mark completion and prevent work from bleeding into rest. Boundaries support both productivity and recovery. The environment matters. Visual clutter distracts, noise interrupts. Adjust the workspace to support attention. Keep only necessary items visible. Use headphones or quiet background sound if helpful. Design the space to reduce friction rather than relying on willpower. Breaks are part of focus. Continuous effort without rest reduces quality. Short intentional breaks restore attention. Step away from screens. Move the body. Look outside. Avoid replacing one distraction with another. Rest should refresh, not overstimulate. Attention improves when tasks align with values. Meaningful work holds focus more easily than empty activity. Regularly reconnect tasks to purpose. Ask why this matters. Purpose strengthens resolve and reduces avoidance. Another practical habit is setting time limits. Open-ended tasks invite drift. Decide how long you will work on something before starting. A clear end point increases urgency and reduces perfectionism. Often more is accomplished in a shorter focused window than in a long distracted one. Resist the urge to constantly consume information. Learning without application scatters attention. Apply what you learn through action. This anchors attention and builds competence. Focus sharpens when knowledge is used rather than collected. Mind wandering is natural. The goal is not to eliminate it, but to notice it sooner. When attention drifts, gently return it to the task. No frustration is needed. Each return strengthens focus. This is training, not punishment. Evening habits affect next day focus. Late night screen use and irregular schedules reduce morning clarity. Establish a consistent wind-down routine. Lower stimulation before sleep. Prepare the next day in advance. Mornings become calmer when evenings are structured. Attention is also influenced by self-trust. When you follow through on plans, confidence grows. When plans are ignored, resistance increases. Keep commitments small and realistic. Consistency builds trust. Trust reduces internal conflict. Reduced conflict frees attention. Learn to say no to low-value demands. Overcommitment fragments focus. Protecting time is not selfish, it is necessary. Choose commitments deliberately. Each yes carries a cost. Use tools intentionally. Timers, calendars, and task managers support focus when used simply. Avoid overcomplication. Tools should reduce thinking, not add to it. The practice of focus strengthens patience. Results may not appear immediately. Stay with the process. Each focus session builds capacity. Over time, attention becomes steadier and work becomes more satisfying. The chapter ends with a clear truth. Focus is not found, it is built. Through deliberate time use, controlled digital habits, and respect for attention, clarity returns. When attention is directed with purpose, effort becomes effective and days feel meaningful rather than scattered. Chapter 5: Grow emotional strength by responding calmly to daily challenges. Emotional strength is not the absence of feeling. It is the ability to remain steady while feelings move through you. Daily life presents small challenges that test this strength again and again. Delays, irritation, criticism, uncertainty, and disappointment arrive without warning. The difference between a reactive life and a resilient one is not what happens, but how you respond in those moments. Calm responses protect judgment. They preserve dignity. They keep small problems from becoming lasting damage. The first step toward emotional strength is recognizing the gap between stimulus and response. Something happens and a reaction rises almost instantly. In that brief space you have a choice. Most people miss it because they rush to defend, explain, or escape. Emotional strength grows when you slow that moment down. A single breath can be enough. This pause allows reason to step forward before impulse takes control. Strong emotions often feel urgent. They demand immediate action. Anger wants expression. Fear wants avoidance. Anxiety wants reassurance. Acting on these demands rarely leads to good outcomes. Responding calmly does not mean suppressing emotion. It means acknowledging it without surrendering authority. You can notice anger without acting angrily. You can feel fear without retreating. This distinction is central to self-mastery. Language shapes emotional response. The words you use internally can either inflame or steady the mind. Catastrophic thinking magnifies stress. Absolute statements increase pressure. Replace exaggeration with accuracy. Instead of saying "this always happens," say "this is difficult right now." Instead of saying "I cannot handle this," say "this is uncomfortable but manageable." Precise language reduces emotional intensity. Another practice is separating facts from interpretations. Many emotional reactions come from assumptions rather than reality. When a message is short or delayed, the mind invents stories. When feedback is blunt, the mind assumes disrespect. Calm response begins by asking what is known for certain. Focus on observable facts. Interpretations can be examined later. This reduces unnecessary emotional load. Emotional strength also involves accepting what cannot be controlled. Much distress comes from resisting reality. Weather, traffic, other people's moods, and unexpected changes are outside your authority. Fighting these facts wastes energy. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means recognizing limits and choosing the best response within them. This frees attention for useful action. Training calm responses requires rehearsal. Anticipate common stressors. Identify triggers that repeatedly cause strong reactions. Decide in advance how you want to respond. This preparation reduces surprise and increases follow-through. When the situation arises, the response is already practiced. Breathing is a direct way to influence emotional state. Slow, controlled breathing signals safety to the nervous system. Lengthening the exhale calms the body. This simple technique can be used discreetly during tense moments. It buys time for clearer thinking. Emotional strength grows when you stop personalizing everything. Not every problem is about you. Other people act from their own pressures, limitations, and habits. Interpreting events less personally reduces emotional reactivity. This perspective encourages patience and understanding without excusing harmful behavior. Another useful habit is naming emotions accurately. Vague labels like bad or stressed lack clarity. Identifying specific feelings such as frustration, disappointment, or worry helps regulate them. Naming creates distance. It turns emotion into an object of observation rather than a controlling force. Responding calmly also means choosing restraint in speech. Words spoken during emotional surges often cause regret. Silence can be a powerful response. It allows emotions to settle and prevents escalation. You can always speak later with clarity. You cannot retrieve words spoken impulsively. Emotional strength includes self-compassion. Harsh self-judgment intensifies stress and undermines calm. When mistakes happen, acknowledge them without abuse. Correct the behavior and move forward. Treating yourself fairly supports resilience. Self-respect grows when correction replaces criticism. Routine reflection strengthens emotional control. At the end of the day, review moments of strong emotion. Ask what triggered the response and how it was handled. Note what worked and what can improve. This process transforms experiences into lessons. Over time, patterns become clear and responses improve. Physical state affects emotional regulation. Fatigue, hunger, and tension lower tolerance. Caring for the body supports emotional steadiness. Regular movement, balanced meals, and adequate rest increase resilience. Emotional strength is supported by physical health. Boundaries are essential. Overexposure to negativity drains emotional resources. Limit contact with sources that consistently provoke anger or anxiety when possible. Choose environments that support calm and focus. Protecting emotional space is a form of discipline. Responding calmly to criticism is a valuable skill. Initial defensiveness is natural. Pause before replying. Listen fully. Separate tone from content. Consider whether there is useful information. Even poorly delivered feedback can contain truth. Responding with curiosity rather than hostility preserves composure and credibility. Disappointment is another frequent challenge. Expectations often exceed reality. Emotional strength accepts outcomes without bitterness. When plans fail, adjust direction rather than dwelling on loss. Flexibility reduces suffering. It keeps effort aligned with reality. Fear often arises before important action. Calm response does not remove fear, it allows action despite it. Acknowledge fear as information, not instruction. Decide based on values rather than comfort. Courage is not the absence of fear, but disciplined movement in its presence. Practice slowing down reactions during minor annoyances. Traffic delays, slow lines, and interruptions provide daily training opportunities. Use them to practice patience. These moments build the muscle needed for larger challenges. Another helpful perspective is focusing on what depends on you. Effort, attitude, preparation, and response are within control. Outcomes and opinions are not. Investing energy where control exists reduces frustration and increases effectiveness. Gratitude supports emotional balance. Noticing what is working shifts attention away from constant problem scanning. This does not deny difficulty. It broadens perspective. Balanced attention stabilizes mood. Avoid emotional isolation. Sharing experiences with trusted people provides perspective and relief. Choose listeners who are calm and honest. Avoid those who escalate emotion. Community supports regulation. Emotional strength also requires forgiveness. Holding resentment consumes energy and distorts judgment. Forgiveness is not forgetting or excusing. It is releasing the need to relive harm. This act protects your peace and frees attention. The practice of responding calmly builds self-trust. Each time you manage a reaction wisely, confidence grows. You see evidence of control. This confidence reduces anxiety in future challenges. Over time, emotional strength becomes noticeable. Situations that once caused turmoil become manageable. Responses become measured. Relationships improve. Decision-making sharpens. Life feels steadier. This growth is gradual. Expect setbacks. Emotional habits formed over years do not disappear quickly. Persistence matters more than perfection. Each calm response is progress. The chapter closes with a simple truth. Calm is a choice practiced daily. Emotional strength is built through awareness, restraint, and reasoned action. When challenges arise, respond with intention. In doing so, you protect your mind, your relationships, and your future. Chapter 6c. Practice gratitude daily to stabilize mood and perspective. Gratitude is not a personality trait, and it is not blind optimism. It is a daily discipline of attention. It trains the mind to notice what is steady and supportive instead of obsessing over what is missing or irritating. When practiced consistently, gratitude stabilizes mood and corrects perspective. It does not erase problems, but it prevents them from dominating awareness. A mind without gratitude becomes restless and dissatisfied even in comfort. A mind trained in gratitude remains balanced even in difficulty. The human brain naturally scans for threats and flaws. This tendency once protected survival, but now often creates unnecessary stress. Without conscious effort, attention drifts toward complaints, comparisons, and worries. Gratitude interrupts this pattern by redirecting attention toward what is already functioning. This shift changes emotional tone quickly. Mood improves not because circumstances suddenly change, but because perception becomes more accurate and complete. Practicing gratitude daily begins with simplicity. It does not require dramatic affirmations or forced positivity. It starts by noticing ordinary supports. Clean water available when thirsty, a functioning body that carries you through the day, a quiet moment between tasks. These details are easy to overlook because they are consistent. Consistency hides value. Gratitude restores visibility. A useful habit is to anchor gratitude to routine moments. Upon waking, notice one thing that makes the day possible. It could be shelter, warmth, or another day of opportunity. Before meals, acknowledge the effort and resources that brought food to the table. At night, recall moments that provided ease or progress. These pauses require little time but build awareness. Gratitude stabilizes mood by reducing emotional extremes. When things go well, gratitude prevents arrogance and entitlement. When things go poorly, it prevents despair and bitterness. It creates a middle ground where judgment remains clear. This balance supports wiser decisions and calmer reactions. Another benefit of gratitude is improved patience. When attention includes appreciation, delays feel less personal. Minor inconveniences lose their power to irritate. This does not mean tolerating poor treatment. It means conserving emotional energy for matters that truly require it. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. During hardship, noticing what remains intact provides psychological support. Even in loss, there are aspects of life still functioning. Breath continues, time continues, capacity for effort remains. Acknowledging these facts does not minimize pain. It provides a platform from which to respond rather than collapse. The Stoic perspective views gratitude as alignment with reality. Life includes both comfort and challenge. Expecting constant ease creates frustration. Gratitude accepts what is given without demanding more in every moment. This acceptance reduces suffering caused by unrealistic expectations. Practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring ambition. You can pursue improvement while appreciating the present. Gratitude actually supports progress by reducing desperation. Actions taken from appreciation are calmer and more sustainable than those driven by dissatisfaction. A practical exercise is to write down 3 specific things you appreciated during the day and why they mattered. Avoid general statements. Specificity strengthens impact. Instead of being grateful for health, note the energy that allowed you to complete a task. Instead of being grateful for people, note a conversation that provided clarity. This trains the mind to look for concrete positives. Gratitude also applies to challenges. This is more difficult but valuable. Ask what a difficulty teaches or strengthens. A setback may reveal weaknesses to address. A delay may provide time to refine plans. This reframing does not deny frustration. It extracts value from it. Social relationships benefit from expressed gratitude. Thank people sincerely for their effort and presence. Recognition strengthens trust and cooperation. Gratitude shared outwardly reinforces gratitude felt inwardly. It builds connection and reduces conflict. Gratitude improves self-respect. Acknowledge your own efforts and discipline. Recognize progress even when results are incomplete. This does not inflate ego, it reinforces consistency. Self-appreciation grounded in action supports motivation. Avoid turning gratitude into obligation. Forced gratitude feels hollow and creates resistance. The practice should feel grounding, not performative. If appreciation feels difficult on some days, start with neutral facts rather than emotions. Noticing facts reduces pressure. Gratitude also counters comparison. Comparing yourself constantly to others distorts perspective. Gratitude redirects attention to your own path, resources, and responsibilities. This reduces envy and increases contentment. Environmental gratitude sharpens awareness. Notice light, air, temperature, and sound. These sensory details anchor attention in the present moment. Presence calms the nervous system. Calm supports clarity. Gratitude does not require special circumstances. It thrives in ordinary moments. This makes it reliable. You do not need success or praise to practice it. Availability is constant. Over time, gratitude reshapes default thinking. The mind begins to notice support automatically. Mood becomes steadier. Emotional recovery becomes faster. Stress feels manageable. A common mistake is using gratitude to suppress legitimate concerns. Gratitude should coexist with problem solving. You can appreciate what works while addressing what needs improvement. Balance is key. Gratitude also prepares the mind for loss. Appreciating what you have now deepens awareness of its value. This does not increase fear. It increases presence. Life feels fuller when experienced consciously. Another effective practice is gratitude during routine tasks. While cleaning, appreciate having a space to care for. While commuting, appreciate movement toward purpose. This transforms mundane activities into moments of grounding. Gratitude supports humility. It reminds you that many aspects of life depend on factors beyond personal effort. This reduces arrogance and increases cooperation. Practicing gratitude daily is an investment in mental stability. It costs little and returns much. Mood steadies. Perspective widens. Energy increases. There will be days when gratitude feels distant. That is normal. Continue the practice gently. Even minimal acknowledgement maintains the habit. Consistency matters more than intensity. Gratitude also strengthens long-term satisfaction. Pleasure fades quickly. Appreciation endures. It allows enjoyment without excess and ambition without anxiety. The chapter ends with a clear reminder. Gratitude is not about pretending life is perfect. It is about seeing life clearly. By practicing daily appreciation, you train the mind to recognize support, stability, and opportunity. This perspective stabilizes mood and guides action with calm confidence. Chapter 70. Learn continuously by reading, listening, and applying one idea. Continuous learning is not about collecting information. It is about sharpening judgment through steady exposure and deliberate use. Many people read, often listen widely, and watch endlessly yet remain unchanged. Knowledge alone does not transform a life. Learning becomes powerful only when it is applied in small, consistent ways. The goal is not to know more than others, but to become more capable than yesterday. Learning works best when it is simple and focused. Trying to absorb too many ideas at once creates confusion and fatigue. The mind retains little and applies less. A disciplined approach chooses one idea at a time and works with it until it becomes practical. This method respects how the brain actually learns through repetition, relevance, and use. Reading is one of the most direct ways to access tested ideas. Choose material with substance rather than novelty. Books, essays, and long-form writing allow ideas to develop fully. Short fragments often entertain but rarely instruct. Read slowly, pause often, ask how the idea connects to your current challenges. Reading with intention turns pages into tools. Listening expands learning into moments that reading cannot reach. Commutes, walks, and routine tasks become opportunities for growth. Audiobooks, lectures, and thoughtful conversations introduce perspectives and explanations that deepen understanding. Listening well requires attention. Passive listening fades quickly. Active listening involves noticing points of tension, agreement, and curiosity. Application is where learning becomes real. After reading or listening, identify one idea that stands out, not the most impressive one, the most usable one. Decide how to test it within the next day or week. Keep the experiment small. A single behavior change, a new question asked, a slight adjustment in routine. Application anchors learning in experience. Many people delay application until they feel fully prepared. This delay weakens learning. Understanding deepens through action. Mistakes clarify concepts. Feedback refines judgment. Acting early prevents ideas from remaining abstract. Learning also requires humility. Accept that current knowledge is incomplete. This mindset keeps curiosity alive. Arrogance closes the door to improvement. Humility invites correction and growth. It allows you to revise opinions without defensiveness. A practical habit is to maintain a learning log. Write down one idea learned each day and one way it could be applied. Keep entries brief. This reinforces attention and accountability. Reviewing past entries reveals progress and patterns. Learning continuously also means revisiting fundamentals. Mastery grows from repetition. Returning to basic principles often reveals deeper layers. Do not rush to advanced concepts while neglecting foundations. Depth comes from patience. Avoid the trap of endless consumption. Information without action creates illusion of progress. Limit intake to what can be applied. Choose quality over quantity. A single well-used idea outweighs dozens of unused ones. Learning benefits from questioning. Ask why an idea works. Ask when it fails. Ask how it fits with other principles. Questions turn information into understanding. They also reveal assumptions that need examination. Learning is enhanced by teaching. Explaining an idea to someone else clarifies your own understanding. Teaching exposes gaps and strengthens retention. Even informal sharing helps solidify concepts. Create a rhythm for learning. Set aside regular time for reading or listening. Keep sessions manageable. Consistency matters more than duration. 15 focused minutes daily compounds into substantial knowledge over time. Select learning sources carefully. Favor thinkers who emphasize clarity and evidence. Avoid content that relies on hype or oversimplification. Reliable sources respect complexity while remaining practical. Learning also involves unlearning. Some beliefs no longer serve growth. Holding on to outdated ideas limits progress. Be willing to release habits of thought that conflict with new understanding. This process requires courage and patience. Feedback accelerates learning. Observe results of applied ideas. Adjust based on outcomes. Learning is iterative. It improves through cycles of action and reflection. Learning should align with current goals. Random knowledge scatters attention. Choose topics that support responsibilities and aspirations. Alignment increases relevance and motivation. Use learning to improve decision-making. Apply principles to real choices. Evaluate outcomes honestly. This strengthens judgment and confidence. Learning continuously builds adaptability. Change becomes less threatening when learning is habitual. New situations feel manageable. Curiosity replaces fear. Protect learning time from distraction. Silence notifications. Choose quiet spaces. Attention enhances retention. Learning is also physical. Take notes by hand when possible. Writing engages the mind differently than typing. It slows thought and deepens processing. Balance learning with rest. Overloading the mind reduces absorption. Space learning sessions to allow consolidation. Recognize progress. Notice improvements in thinking behavior and results. This reinforces commitment to learning. Avoid comparison. Learning pace varies. Focus on your path. Consistency matters more than speed. Learning supports resilience. Understanding reduces anxiety. Knowledge provides options. Options create confidence. The practice of learning one idea at a time builds momentum. Small applications accumulate into skill. Skill transforms life. Learning does not end with age or success. It is a lifelong discipline. Those who stop learning begin to stagnate. The chapter concludes with a clear principle. Read with intention, listen with attention, and apply with courage. One idea practiced is worth more than many ideas admired. Continuous learning is not an activity. It is a way of living that keeps the mind flexible, capable, and prepared for whatever comes next. Chapter 8 say communicate clearly by speaking honestly, listening fully and respectfully. Clear communication changes how people move through the world and how they connect with others. Speak with purpose and choose words that match the point you actually want to make. Start conversations by knowing the outcome you want without trying to control the other person. Express facts first, then share your feelings so that your message is grounded and honest. Use short, direct statements when you need clarity rather than long explanations that invite confusion. When describing a problem, name the behavior you observed, the effect it created, and how you would like it to change. Replace blame with description, and you will keep the other person engaged rather than defensive. Choose first-person language to own your experience and lower the chance of escalation. Ask precise questions instead of assuming motives or filling silence with speculation. Pause before answering difficult remarks and take the time to form a clear response. A deliberate pause reduces heat and improves the quality of what you say next. Listen with the goal of understanding rather than preparing your reply while someone else speaks. Allow the speaker to finish without interruption and resist the urge to fill gaps with your own thoughts. Reflect back what you heard using your own words to confirm accuracy and avoid misinterpretation. Paraphrasing shows attention and gives the other person a chance to correct your understanding. Notice nonverbal signals like posture, facial tension, and tone, because meaning lives in more than words. Match eye contact to the cultural context and to the comfort level of the person you are speaking with. Lean in to show interest and step back when someone looks guarded to respect their space. Speak at a measured pace and vary volume so the message lands instead of bouncing past the listener. Trim unnecessary details to keep the main point visible and easy to remember. Frame requests plainly by stating what you need when you need it and why it matters. Set realistic expectations instead of promising outcomes you cannot control. If emotions rise, name them calmly and invite a moment to cool rather than continuing under stress. Use simple rituals to reduce friction, like asking permission before offering advice or pausing for a beat after a question. Practice asking open questions that begin with what, how, or tell me about to invite explanation. Close questions are useful for quick facts, but open questions create insight. When giving feedback, begin with something specific that worked, and then add one focused suggestion for improvement. Keep feedback actionable and limited to the present or recent past to avoid overwhelming the listener. Avoid global statements that label character and stick to observable actions instead. If you must correct someone, consider starting with curiosity and a request to understand their perspective. Silence can be a tool, not a gap to fill, because thoughtful quiet gives space for reflection. Learn to receive criticism by listening first, breathing second, and responding third with a short acknowledgement before offering context. Say thank you when feedback is useful, even when it stings, because gratitude lowers defensiveness and builds trust. Check for comprehension at the end of important exchanges by asking the other person to summarize the plan in their own words. Document agreements quickly in writing when details matter to prevent drift and misunderstanding. Use short follow-up messages that confirm commitments and timelines rather than long email chains that bury the outcome. Prioritize face-to-face or voice conversations for sensitive topics, because tone and subtle cues guide resolution more effectively than text. When using text, make intentions explicit with a short preface so the format does not create accidental coldness. Limit multitasking while talking to someone, because divided attention broadcasts disrespect even if unintentional. Create a habit of reviewing conversations by asking what went well and what could be clear next time. Practice small public speaking tasks to build confidence, like explaining an idea to a friend or summarizing a book in 2 minutes. Work on vocabulary that fits reality and avoids hyperbole, which distorts meaning and reduces credibility. Cultivate curiosity about differences in opinion rather than treating them as threats to your position. Ask clarifying questions when a term is vague or when you suspect underlying assumptions are unresolved. Adjust your approach when the other person is stressed by lowering intensity and focusing on essentials. Remember that clarity often requires repetition in different words until the listener truly understands. Name expectations at the start of group conversations to prevent hidden assumptions from becoming conflict later. When anger arises, step back and consider whether the issue is about values, logistics, or personality, and respond accordingly. Apologize without qualification when you are wrong and offer a plan for repair to restore trust. Practice delivering difficult news with compassion and directness, and allow space for reaction without rushing to fix everything immediately. Value listening as active work that includes summarizing, questioning, and emotional validation. Teach others how you prefer to be communicated with by modeling clear, direct, and respectful behavior. Designate quiet times and communication windows at work or home to protect deep work and relational focus. Use short check-ins to surface issues early rather than letting them compound into bigger problems. Avoid absolutes in language, because words like always or never close opportunities for reconciliation. Switch from problem talk to solution talk by proposing one small next step rather than describing every past failure. Honor cultural and generational differences in style and adjust tone and pace accordingly. Practice micro skills like matching the other person's level of formality and avoiding jargon that excludes others. Be generous with confirmations when someone contributes to a conversation to encourage continued participation. Develop a habit of ending conversations with a clear next step or summary so everyone leaves aligned. Measure improvement by the frequency of misunderstandings, not by how smart you sound in a single conversation. Experiment with role reversal, where you argue the other side to strengthen empathy and sharpen your own points. Treat digital communication as part of your reputation, because toneless messages can erode goodwill over time. Use stories sparingly to illustrate points with concrete examples rather than rely on abstract theory. Notice how small adjustments to phrasing change emotional impact, and refine language based on results. Practice brief daily exercises like explaining your plan for the day in one sentence to sharpen clarity. Seek trusted feedback on your communication style and apply one suggestion at a time to avoid overwhelm. Keep promises made in conversation, because reliability is the strongest proof of clear intent. Recognize when a conversation is not salvageable in the moment, and propose a pause and later reconnection to prevent harm. View communication as reciprocal work where clarity is co-created rather than delivered from one side. Commit to steady improvement by treating each interaction as practice and each mistake as information to correct. When conversations succeed, notice the feeling of alignment and let that reinforce the value of honest, respectful dialogue. Chapter 9. Strengthen relationships through daily acts of kindness and reliability. Strong relationships are not built through grand gestures or rare moments of intensity. They are shaped quietly, through small choices repeated day after day. Most people underestimate how powerful consistency is in human connection. They believe relationships are sustained by feelings, chemistry, or history, yet those things fade when daily behavior does not support them. What actually strengthens bonds over time is kindness that shows up without being asked and reliability that does not require reminders. These two qualities create emotional safety, and emotional safety is the foundation of trust. Kindness does not mean pleasing everyone or sacrificing your boundaries. It means choosing to act with consideration even when you are busy, stressed, or distracted. It is the tone you use when responding. It is the patience you show when someone repeats themselves. It is the decision to acknowledge effort rather than focus only on mistakes. These moments seem small in isolation, but over weeks and years they accumulate into a powerful message: you matter, and I see you. People remember how they feel around you more than what you say, and kindness shapes that feeling. Reliability works quietly in the background, yet it is one of the strongest signals of respect. When you do what you say you will do, when you show up on time, when you follow through even on simple promises, you tell others that your word has weight. This builds confidence in you without needing explanation. Unreliability, on the other hand, erodes trust slowly and often invisibly. Missed calls, forgotten tasks, delayed responses, and broken commitments send a message of indifference, even when none is intended. Daily kindness starts with attention. When you are present, people feel valued. Listening without interrupting, putting your phone aside, and responding thoughtfully are acts of kindness that cost nothing yet mean everything. Attention is rare in a distracted world, and offering it sincerely is a powerful gift. It tells others that they are not competing for your focus. Over time, this strengthens emotional closeness naturally. Kindness also shows itself in restraint. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every irritation needs to be expressed. Choosing your words carefully prevents unnecessary harm. Speaking honestly does not require harshness. You can be truthful while remaining respectful. This balance deepens trust because people feel safe being open with you without fear of being attacked or dismissed. Reliability extends beyond big commitments. It is visible in everyday habits, returning messages when you say you will, being consistent in your behavior rather than unpredictable, maintaining the same level of respect whether you are in a good mood or a difficult one. These patterns create stability. People relax around those they can rely on because they do not have to guess what version of you they will encounter. Relationships suffer when people assume understanding without checking. Kindness includes clarifying expectations and asking questions instead of making assumptions. Misunderstandings often come from silence rather than conflict. When you address small issues early with care, you prevent resentment from growing. This is not about avoiding disagreement, but about handling it in a way that preserves connection. One of the most overlooked aspects of kindness is appreciation. Expressing gratitude for everyday actions reinforces positive behavior and strengthens emotional bonds. Thanking someone for their time, effort, or support reminds them that their contributions are noticed. Appreciation does not weaken authority or independence. It strengthens cooperation and goodwill. People naturally invest more in relationships where they feel valued. Reliability also includes emotional consistency. Being supportive only when it is convenient creates distance. Showing up emotionally during ordinary moments builds depth. This might mean checking in regularly, remembering important details, or offering encouragement without being prompted. Emotional reliability assures others that they can depend on you not only in crisis but in daily life. Kindness requires awareness of how your actions affect others. This does not mean walking on eggshells. It means recognizing that words and behaviors have impact beyond intention. Taking responsibility when you cause harm, even unintentionally, strengthens relationships more than defending yourself. A sincere acknowledgement repairs trust faster than any explanation. Strong relationships are maintained through repetition, not intensity. Grand apologies and dramatic promises do not replace steady behavior. Change is proven through action over time. When people see that your kindness and reliability are consistent, trust deepens naturally. This trust becomes the glue that holds relationships together through stress, distance, and change. Reliability also includes respecting boundaries. Showing up does not mean overstepping. Honoring others' limits builds respect. When you accept a boundary without resentment, you demonstrate emotional maturity. This creates a safe space where honesty can exist without fear. Respecting boundaries is a form of kindness that many overlook, yet it is essential for long-term connection. Daily acts of kindness do not require extra time or resources. They are embedded in how you speak, listen, and respond. They are present in patience, follow-through, and respect. These choices shape your reputation quietly. Over time, people come to trust your presence, your word, and your intentions. Relationships are mirrors. How you treat others reflects how you see yourself. Consistent kindness and reliability signal self-respect as much as respect for others. When you live this way, you attract healthier connections naturally. People feel safe around those who are steady, considerate, and dependable. No relationship becomes strong by accident. It grows through daily care. Each small act either strengthens or weakens the bond. When you choose kindness, even when it is unnoticed, and reliability, even when it is inconvenient, you build relationships that endure. Over time, these choices shape a life rich with trust, support, and meaningful connection. Chapter Hunt and reflect each night to plan better actions tomorrow. Reflection is not a passive habit. It is an active tool that shapes tomorrow by examining today. Each evening provides a unique opportunity to pause, observe, and extract lessons from the hours that have passed. Without reflection, mistakes repeat, opportunities go unnoticed, and growth slows. Reflection creates clarity. It turns confusion into insight, wasted time into direction, and ordinary days into stepping stones toward meaningful progress. The process does not require long hours. It requires consistency, honesty, and focus. Begin by reviewing the day objectively. Consider what was accomplished and what was left incomplete. Avoid judging yourself harshly or minimizing your effort. Facts matter more than emotions at this stage. Look at each task and interaction and ask what worked, what did not, and why. Documenting these observations strengthens understanding because writing engages both memory and reasoning. Identify moments of distraction or lost energy. Notice when focus drifted or when choices did not align with your priorities. Awareness of these patterns allows adjustments. Small shifts in behavior, discovered through reflection, compound over time into efficiency, discipline, and self-mastery. Do not skip this step. Awareness without action is incomplete. A critical element of nightly reflection is acknowledging emotions. Track how you felt in various situations and why. Emotions are signals. They reveal what matters to you, where boundaries may have been crossed, and when energy was misallocated. Recognizing emotional responses informs future decisions and prevents repeated stress or regret. Assess relationships as part of your reflection. Consider how you treated others and how they responded. Were your words clear and honest? Were actions reliable? Did kindness prevail over impatience? Reflection in this area strengthens trust, improves communication, and maintains meaningful connections. Small adjustments made consistently improve the quality of interactions far more than rare grand gestures. Reflection also includes reviewing decisions. Analyze choices for alignment with your long-term goals and values. Did actions today support the direction you aim for? Were shortcuts taken that undermined discipline? Were opportunities ignored due to hesitation or fear? Honest evaluation illuminates the path forward and sharpens judgment. The next step is extracting actionable insights. Identify at least one specific improvement to implement tomorrow. Avoid overwhelming yourself with too many changes. Focus on one adjustment that addresses a recurring pattern or a high-impact behavior. Small, deliberate actions accumulate more influence than trying to overhaul everything at once. Prioritize tasks for the next day based on this reflection. Determine what is essential and what can wait. Clear prioritization reduces morning decision fatigue and creates structure. When plans are guided by reflection, energy and attention are invested in what truly matters. Consider habits as part of nightly reflection. Which routines supported focus, health, and emotional stability? Which habits disrupted productivity or well-being? Make small adjustments to routines rather than attempting radical change. Incremental improvements compound into lasting transformation. Reflection should include gratitude for the day's progress. Even minor accomplishments deserve acknowledgement. Recognizing effort reinforces motivation and prevents discouragement. Daily reflection without gratitude becomes overly critical. Balance assessment with recognition to maintain perspective and confidence. Use reflection to rehearse challenges for tomorrow. Anticipate difficult situations and plan responses. Imagine emotional triggers, obstacles, and opportunities. Mental rehearsal strengthens resilience, reduces impulsive reactions, and improves problem-solving under pressure. Preparedness through reflection reduces anxiety and increases control. Evaluate learning as part of the process. Review new ideas absorbed during the day and consider how they can be applied immediately. Even one practical application strengthens skill and deepens understanding. Reflection links learning to action, preventing knowledge from remaining abstract. Nightly reflection encourages self-trust. When you consistently examine actions and adjust deliberately, you demonstrate accountability to yourself. This builds confidence in judgment, discipline, and emotional control. Self-trust is a stabilizing force that supports focus and growth under stress. Track patterns over time. Reflection becomes more powerful when connected across days. Recognizing trends in behavior, attention, emotional responses, and results allows for proactive adjustments. Long-term observation reveals strengths and weaknesses that single-day evaluations cannot. End reflection with clarity for the next day. List the 3 most important actions to complete, a minor adjustment to implement, and an attitude or mindset to maintain. This creates a roadmap that transforms intention into measurable progress. Clear planning reduces indecision and ensures continuity. Reflection also trains humility. Understanding where mistakes occurred and why develops insight and patience. Humility prevents overconfidence and encourages continuous improvement. It allows learning from outcomes rather than repeating errors unconsciously. Incorporate a brief pause for stillness. A few moments of quiet meditation or deep breathing helps integrate insights, calm the mind, and reduce mental clutter before sleep. Clear minds retain lessons better and approach tomorrow with focused energy. Nightly reflection strengthens emotional resilience. By observing reactions, successes, and setbacks, you develop perspective and detachment. Difficult moments lose power when viewed analytically, reducing unnecessary stress and strengthening composure in future situations. Do not rush the process. Reflection is not a task to complete quickly, but a discipline to cultivate. Even 10 focused minutes can produce substantial insights if practiced consistently. Depth matters more than duration. Avoid harsh self-judgment. Reflection is about understanding, not punishment. Evaluate actions honestly but with fairness. Overly critical reflection generates guilt, while balanced evaluation produces improvement. Reflection reinforces accountability in relationships. Consider commitments made, promises kept, and interactions nurtured. Identify opportunities to improve reliability or express appreciation. Daily attention to these factors builds trust and strengthens connections incrementally. The final step is committing to action. Reflection alone is insufficient without implementation. Translate insights into specific, tangible steps for the next day. Commit mentally and, if possible, record intentions. Action validates reflection and closes the loop between observation and growth. Reflection also improves long-term vision. By consistently evaluating actions, patterns, and results, you gain perspective on whether current efforts align with larger goals. Minor adjustments guided by daily reflection prevent drift and accelerate progress. Use reflection to practice mental clarity. Notice where focus scattered or attention wavered and strategize ways to stay aligned. Identify distractions and plan removal or mitigation. This habit increases productivity and reinforces disciplined behavior. The process of nightly reflection also cultivates mindfulness. Awareness of actions, emotions, and intentions trains the mind to live with presence. Mindfulness strengthens discipline, reduces stress, and enhances decision-making throughout the day. Reflection is a skill that improves with repetition. Each night you practice observation, analysis, and planning, the process becomes more efficient and insightful. Over time, your capacity to see patterns, anticipate challenges, and implement solutions grows substantially. In conclusion, nightly reflection is a bridge from today to tomorrow. It converts experience into knowledge, mistakes into lessons, and observation into action. By reviewing accomplishments, emotions, decisions, relationships, and habits with honesty, clarity, and focus, each day becomes an opportunity for deliberate improvement. Planning actions for the next day consolidates learning, enhances discipline, and strengthens self-trust. The habit of nightly reflection transforms ordinary routines into a framework for growth, resilience, and meaningful progress.